Well, and Mama, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Roland. Welcome. Good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Ade. And Gifty also is joining us. Gifty, good morning to you. Okay, so we're just working the streams to make sure we get Gifty. It's the birthday of Michael-Addo. You work with Our Lady of Grace Hospital in Swedro, Agona Swedro, and you say that I should give you all the alcohol. Today's your birthday. And
What's his name again?
Wish you Michael-Addo.
Michael-Addo of Agona Swedro.
Our
hospital?
Our Lady of Grace Hospital.
Our Lady of Grace Hospital in Agona Swedro. Okay, happy birthday to you.
No, Michael.
Enjoy
Sweet
your birthday
Michael.
today.
Yeah. Enjoy your birthday.
And stay safe. Keep safe.
Yeah, wear your masks.
Yeah, like our last hope. You know that. All right, so we're on to the newspapers. One of the stories that broke later in the afternoon yesterday, I'm not sure how much of it has been reported in the main newspapers. At least I don't see it on the front page of the Daily Graphic, but details of it on MyJohnLinecom. We'll talk about Daniel Domalovo, the Auditor General, who decided to go to his office yesterday and not necessarily to work. He's on leave. He's been asked to proceed on a compulsory leave, which he's supposed to be doing right now. But he went to his office. Like, you know, it will happen to you when you're on leave. You decide to go to your office. Who knows? Either to pick something or to check something, whatever it is. He realized that his office door, the lock had been changed. He couldn't have access. He had a key that couldn't open the office. This thing is getting, is deepening the controversies and getting people talking and raising lots of questions. So it's one of the things we'll be talking about. But let's quickly go through the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page, lynching of 90-year-old woman. Kafaba chief arrested, 13 others on the run. President describes action as barbaric. 34 COVID-19 rapid test kits fail validation tests. This was the Food and Drugs Authority's boss making that revelation yesterday at the press conference. No blankets mop up after registration, according to the Electoral Commission. MTN challenges NCA directive in courts. In the center spread of the paper today, President inaugurates Nalerugu water system. It was the Yape yesterday that was reported. It's Nalerugu today. Device solutions for COVID-19 challenges. Ajikum Jamina charges managers. That's the head of the civil service, Nanakwesi Ajikum Jamina. He's urged administrators and managers of organizations to devise innovative solutions to save businesses and entities from the debilitating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. 22 pharmacists inducted. The Ghana College of Pharmacists has inducted 22 newly qualified members into the pharmaceutical profession with a call on them to devise innovative ways to help solve some of the challenges facing the healthcare system in the country. Maybe this could have been a profession for me, Roland.
Yeah,
pharmacist,
definitely.
because you can do multiple things. You know, you can have the license, you can open a pharmaceutical, like a pharmacy. You can open a pharmacy, and then you can also work as a pharmacist.
Definitely.
You know, I could have done.
You can work. You can be a businesswoman. You can be whatever.
Oh my God! Back page of the Daily Graphic. Charlie, around these times, if you're still training, if you're trying to find a profession, you should go with passion, definitely, but you should also look at areas where you can do multiple things. Because
so do I deduce from what you're saying that you've been looking at various areas?
Of course, you have to be smart around these times.
I think we need to tell your employers that you've been exploring beyond.
Oh, I'm sure.
The tax that they say you should undertake.
I'm sure they themselves are even exploring. Businesses are trying to look at ways to cut down, man. So we also have to
diversify.
On the back page, illegal structures demolished at Kumasi race course. Giants massed around Wa Airport to be removed. That's the Daily Graphic newspaper. I'll come back and give you a bit of the MTN challenging the NCA directive and quote a bit about that story in the graphic. But let's do the Ghanaian Times. Front page, 78 Volta region markets, lorry parks, others disinfected amid COVID-19. President condemns lynching of 90-year-old woman at Kafaba, orders arrest of corporates. FDA rejects 34 substandard rapid diagnostic tests kits. Health alert, hepatitis B birth dose shortage hits country. 147,000 newborns likely to be affected. This is a very serious story. Details in the center spread. So about this figure, 147,000 newborns stand the risk of being exposed to hepatitis B this year due to the non-availability of birth dose to avert the infection in the country. Acting Program Manager of the National Viral Hepatitis Control Program for the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Achu Kwao, said of the number, 90% may actually end up being infected as the burden of the disease continues to rise among pregnant women. Details of that very worrying story in the center spread of the paper. Is it because the focus now is on COVID-19 and so we're not getting this vaccine or we don't have money to purchase? Back page of the paper, President inaugurates 9.7 million water supply project. Police headquarters gets cafeteria, mini police station. There's a mini police station now at the police headquarters. The Director General in charge of welfare at the Ghana Police Service, Mame Akufo-Addo Dankwa, has inaugurated a mini police station at the Criminal Investigation Department at the police headquarters. The facility, funded by CAX Estate Limited, consists of a charge office for the supervising officer, male and female cells, and a staff hall. There's more to the story. Let's see, last paper or last two, the Finder, front page of the Finder. Mahama's track record in office abysmal, according to the Vice President, Dr. Baumia. Financial Services Authority among Mahama's 10 campaign promises. Nalarugu gets 4.9 million Ghana cedis water project. President admonishes residents to protect water bodies. Court quashes University of Education win about pro-VC elections, orders new elections. Ghana Health Service to publish outcome of hydrochloroquine use on COVID-19 patients. And this is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service also saying yesterday. And I thought, listen, a lot of countries are doing this. Why do we have to wait? Somebody poses the question and then we're now, I don't know, I feel like, because listen, there's an international research that says, for instance, that if you're overweight, if you've got excessive weight, you are more likely, if you've got COVID-19, to be admitted in an intensive care unit. You're more likely to die or hospitalized, essentially. And I feel like countries are doing these kind of research for themselves. So I kind of ask myself, so what we are recording, where we are now, what can we say about ourselves? Is it the same? Does that also affect us? Have we done some of these researches? I think we should. We should invest in some of these things so that we can also guide our own. What we're doing, even though we're following World Health Organization directives, we also say homegrown stuff because this is Ghana. There are things that are peculiar to us. So we should be interested in the research so we can get some of these things for ourselves. Yeah.
You know, the last time we had some bigger conversation on the subject, Dr. Kofi-Addo, for example, of the UCC, who also does a lot of work when it comes to clinical nutrition, this state that generally the statistics seem to favor us per the population because we find the general population within the younger categorization, so to speak, so they tend to withstand. And I do agree with you. The reason why, to complement what you said, we need to do the studies is that there are vulnerabilities in the demographics we have, where because generally we seem to think that everybody generally, again, is okay, we don't seem to look at them the vulnerable because there are people who have sickle cell, who have some other ailment that make them more prone to the complications if they get infected. And that is where we tend to have more of the deaths. And it's a global thing. So if somebody has diabetes, somebody is overweight, which also has a resultant effect because you're overweight because of the complications, then we need to be taking a better look at it. And that's where we need the medical people to be speaking. It looks like now we've left all the talking on COVID to the politicians to be doing the communication. But I don't know. You call them,
well,
and then they don't want to be the people to be at the forefront. Because
sometimes they're targeted. It's like, yeah, you're talking too much, you're exposing us. Well, I'll come back and do the Business and Financial Times. Roland's got the Custodian and some other papers. But let's welcome Gifty up here.
Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Mama V and Roland. What's up?
Charlie, we did.
We did for ya.
You look good.
What can we serve you this morning, Gifty?
Say that again.
What can we serve you? We've got tea, coffee, we've got cocoa.
Money is fine. Money is fine.
Ah. Do you hear what I said? I said tea, coffee, cocoa. You said money.
I know. You're telling me what you have, and I'm telling you what I want.
Roland, you said me, I'm hard. You heard from Gifty. You're quiet.
I think the two of you are the same.
I have the Daily Dispatch newspaper.
Please go ahead.
Roland,
I know.
I don't want you to lose any of the minutes you need to do the dedication. So,
oh, I'm done. I'm done. Michael-Abedu of Our Lady of Grace Hospital.
The Daily Dispatch newspaper has a banner headline: Professor Opoku-Agyeman won't be a walkover for Bawumia, according to a strategist. That's what the paper says. The story is on page 12, and beneath that you have towards 2020 elections, John Mahama's 21 promises so far. The story is on page 2, and it comes with actually a picture of President Mahama in 2016 when he went to Perez Chapel. It looks like. If I remember that picture right. And then Winneba High Court quashes UEW Pro Vice Chancellor elections. That story is on page 11. I'm going to take you to the inside pages of the Dispatch. Full details of Supreme Court's judgment on NDC versus EC. You have the details there. You want to grab it for just 3 CDs and take a look. Highlight of the 2020 mid-year review budget statement. They are reporting on that as well. And President Akufo-Addo's 14th address to the nation on COVID-19 and the measures. So that also is there. So it looks like just deliberately presenting details of those stories. Then Primpack condemns attempts to stifle media freedom and independence. That's about all I have for the Dispatch newspaper. I'll go through the Statesman. Statesman banner headline: 82 financial institutions collapsed under Mahama. And you have a picture of the former president, and with no payments to affected customers. Story is on page 2. Beneath that, you have President Akufo-Addo commissioning the water project. 106,842 residents benefit from Nalerugu water project. And 3 students on scholarship to India make Ghana proud. Very good indeed, isn't it? Let's see what else I have on the Statesman. Okay, back page, Statesman. LMA Awards. Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp named Manager of the Year, and Andrew Ayew tipped to lead Ghana to AFCON glory. Is that so? Okay. I do have the Daily Guide. I think I'll be able to end with the Daily Guide. Daily Guide comes with the banner headline: Kafaba chief arrested over witch killing. And I like the prominence that the Daily Guide is giving to this particular story. And then it comes with that picture. Beneath that, you have Nairi endorses 4 more for Nana. Oh, is that so? That story is on page 6. And 82 financial institutions collapsed under NDC. See story also on page 3. It looks like the Statesman and the Daily Guide on a particular tangent with the Mahama story. And Volta Region Minister defends COVID-19 measures. He says he's recovered from COVID-19 himself. And then up on top of the banner headline, you have first timers swarm voter register. Page 14 has that story. So it looks like more of the young people who are now turning 18 wanting to register. Then you have a picture of the Kafaba chief, Seydou Yaya. And then you have a victim, the victim being assaulted by Hajia. Is it Filipina? Okay, I can't really see that. And then we have a picture of a Kia Dente. Looks like a noble woman. It still hurts me so much to look at her picture. I mean, I can't even really look at the story. May his soul rest in peace. I think that will be about all that I have for by way of the newspapers that echo money to pull through.
Okay, great. Roland will do the Custodian, the Business and Financial Times. I think one more paper you have.
Okay, so we have the Custodian. And the Custodian has on the front page: pursue killers of 90-year-old lady. Akufo-Addo to police. This is a good call because it's been overwhelming what the call is. Akufo-Addo fulfilled 2016 promises in Nalarugu, Yape, water projects commissioned. Police soldiers not doing MPP's bidding. The Interior Minister is correcting, and we all do know where that is emanating from the rants of the last NDC press conference I was convened. Ghana to have positive economic growth under MPP, Dr. Mark Osayasibe. There was an interaction he had with Evans Mentor. There was some key questions were posed to him that, look, Charlie, you wanted to be minister. They don't give you, so you may worry. So, Charlie, even though he's no more going to be a member of parliament.
In time will come.
Yeah, in time will come. True. Now,
you have to be properly affiliated. You have to be within a certain rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's not yet a general.
even when you're part of a ruling government, you have to belong.
Yeah, true. better luck next time. Oh, the Business and Financial Times has a story, and I thought that, look, all of us need to take a look at it. MFIs, that's microfinance institution survival is hanging in the balance, apparently, as COVID-19 also disrupts trade because they tend to serve a certain segment of the markets, the lower segment, market women, those who do the tabletop trading, etc. They provide funding for them and provide some sort of packages. And because that sector of the economy has been badly affected, they also are suffering. But we also do know that the Akufo-Addo-led government has been able to provide some stimulus packages. This also more comprehensive in the last media review and supplementary one as well. And this is on the front page of the Business and Financial Times. AGR also advocating flexibility with 2 billion Ghana cedi guarantee scheme, says it should not be subjected to cumbersome banking appraisals. All right, Mama V, I think I'm done.
Okay. So I promise a bit of details. So this story on the University of Education, I'm picking from the Finder newspaper on page 4. It says the Winneba High Court has quashed the election held to choose a pro-vice chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, on November 21, 2019. This case is simply not going away. Remember that lecturer, former UTAC president, Dr. Frimpong Ketri Duku, sued the University of Education, Winneba, over the processes for the election of a pro-vice chancellor. His lawyer, Afenyo Marking, in that suit, they had described the process of the election as discriminatory and illegal. So the courts, presided over by Justice Abuaje Tanov, also further ordered for an immediate conduct of fresh elections for the pro-vice chancellor position. Contrary to the university's statutes, Reverend Father Professor Anthony Afo-Broning made a nomination which led to the election of Dr. Andy Ofori Krang as a candidate for the pro-VC elections. Winneba is back in the news, still on their issues. It doesn't seem to end, so we're still on it. With the court's decision yesterday, you can grab the paper and read the rest of it. I also promised a bit about the NCA story in the Daily Graphic newspaper, Roland and Gifty, so I'm just going to page 20 real quickly and bring a bit of that story, and then Gifty, you can come through with what you're picking and highlighting on this morning before we do MyJohnLinecom. All right, so this is page 20. It says a legal action by mobile network operator MTN challenging the processes that led to its being classified by the National Communications Authority as a significant market player in the telecommunication industry has commenced at the Commercial Division of the Accra High Court. MTN is in court with a judicial review application urging the court to quash the NCA's decision with an argument that the regulator failed to give it a hearing before classifying it as an SMP. The NCA, however, insists in its affidavits in opposition to the application that at all material times MTN was aware and participated in the process that led to it being classified as an SMP. So all those who reacted on social media based on that comments, I guess you have to be following this issue. It's extensively reported on page 20 in the graphic. You can also grab the paper. Gifty?
Yes, Mavi. It's interesting the telecoms, industry and what's happening within it. I've not really followed it through and through, so I may not be able to share a lot of perspective on that. But anything that seeks to give customers better, value for their money, I think is in the right direction. Otherwise, I'm very much excited that most of the newspapers are bringing back the story about Akufo-Addo in the news. It's refreshing that the president is speaking about it. That said, yesterday, Amnesty International was pretty unhappy about the setup of a foundation without prior agreement or arrangement with the family of this woman. So they said that they went to visit this woman, her family, and they all said that no government official. When it happened over the weekend, we had a lot of calls. The Ministry of Gender and Social Protection was talking a lot. They went to the family house, and they said no government official has even showed up, to ask them anything. None of the representatives within the region, nobody has come. Nobody has talked to them about the setting up of a new foundation or of a foundation in her name. And it was just announced by the president and by the regional minister as well. And Amnesty International was saying, and I agree, was saying that you can't do that. You need the permission of someone's family at least before you can announce a foundation in the person's name. First of all, you can't be on radio talking and sympathizing and condemning when you have not even shown so much a concern as to visit the family and to at least commiserate with them. And they also raised a very important point, Mama V and Roland, that the police station, I think the police officers around this area, Kafaba, they are ill-resourced. And so one of the reasons why Amnesty International believes they could not arrest the chief or anybody involved in this was because they were afraid. And the number of people in the community can overwhelm the police. So the chief, for example, had to be arrested all the way in Damango, which is very far away from Kafaba, apparently. So it's like they are also calling on the IGP to create or to support the police station in Kafaba. Because if anybody had even attempted to save this woman, they probably would have been lynched, because you saw the number of people who were around. It looks like everybody in the community was in on this, and nobody, even if you had good intentions, wanted to save her, could have, because the possibilities that everybody else would descend on you was high. So Amnesty International is calling on the IGP to bring in, some support for the police in that area. And I agree completely. This is so important and necessary. Yeah. But it's good that we are discussing this. People are learning, they are watching, and seeing that you can't do this and just get away with it.
Absolutely. Roland, any story?
Yeah, there is a story about how we need to make sure the AGI, which is advocating for flexibility for a 2 billion Ghana cedi fund, has been made available to the banks for them to be able to access, to make it flexible. And I'm saying this because we've had a number of stimulus packages that has been given to businesses. The first 600 million, that also dovetails into 1.2. That was first sent to Parliament for approval back in April by the Finance Minister. It's supposed to target the businesses. Now this time, we even have moved forward. We want to set up a 3.5-year fund that is supposed to be yielding 100 billion. And I think that if we want the businesses to resurrect within this period because of the effect of COVID, then sometimes we need to take a look at the processes that they go through before they access the funding. Before the financial crisis happened, or the effect that we had with the collapse of the bank, we had the local banks taking a lot of the fall and not being too rigorous with the processes. Of course, we have difficulties with payments and recoveries. And so we have a lot of the percentages as far as the non-performing loans are concerned. But we need to make it not easier, but more flexible for local businesses to be able to access the funding or funding at various banks. Yeah. Otherwise, if we don't develop our own, it becomes difficult for us to say when the borders are open, they can't compete. Because immediately the borders are open, we have to be realistic. The Ghanaian mindset will rotate back to comparing how good a package is to the other. And if packaging is not good, definitely no consumer would want to buy. Yeah. And we have to be realistic. This is the time we have to take advantage, but we also need to provide the funding for them.
Absolutely. Let's spend the last minute that we have on MyJohnLine.com, and our lead story on MyJohnLine.com you'd find when we take you to the page right about now. It's on Daniel Domalovo, who yesterday, as he's on leave, decided to go to his office, but realized that the key he had could not open the lock because apparently it had been changed. Lots of details on MyJohnLinecom. Remember, his initial leave days was even increased further to 167. But later today, there is a case in courts. The Supreme Court will make a ruling on this case that the directive by the president is inconsistent with, as they say, the letter and spirit of the Constitution. That case will be heard by the Supreme Court today. We'll bring you details of that. Professor Stephen Asari is arguing that the acting Auditor General has not taken the oath of the Auditor General, cannot be referred to as acting in that position when there is a substantive Attorney General. And then, of course, changing locks to Auditor General Domalovo's office is ridiculous. That's according to Dr. Pomponi Kojo-Asante of the CDD. Rawlings did not discuss Nana Konaidu's presidential interest, hence her loss, according to Mr. Hoy, who spoke to Kojo Yankson yesterday. I sidestepped Mohammed's running mates' role to ensure generational transition. The ever-intelligent Kwesi Boche there. Okay, Attorney General urges Parliament to pass Conduct of Public Officers Bill 2018. But even if they pass this one, you and I will not know what is contained in it, would we?
Yeah, we can always find out. So.
Yeah? All right, there are plenty more stories on MyJohnLinecom.
All right, so we have to take a break. And Gifty, thank you for joining us this morning. We'll see you later in the day. We're taking a break. We'll be right back with sports.